This is Rob, Higher Power H2O. I want to apologize for putting everything kind of on hold. I got a baby coming, and it's been a little hectic trying to get the house finalized. The wife's dropped and been going into contractions and stuff, so got to prepare for that little miracle. But I wanted to start this video with a kind of an apology and an explanation. I singled out somebody, the Radar Man 12,000, whatever it is, for an egotistical purpose. It was very unfair to him, and I'm not saying that he's not smart or knows less or whatever, but you know, I work with engines and high performance engines on a daily basis, and he went rounds with me on engine theory and stuff, and that's fine. Everybody has their own view, but calling this guy out and comparing engine knowledge to his was just, for all intents and purposes, it was wrong. The guy's a computer programmer. I work on engines, and there's been some comments going around. I don't remember. I've gotten quite a few, and I'm a little disappointed in the HHO crowd. I've been kind of going against the grain, if you will, and really trying to figure this out for myself and not just read all this crap on the internet. We got people saying, it makes emissions almost virtually non-existent. It does this and this, and I'll get into that later. But people pissed off at me for being friends and defending statements of Energy Supply 2008 with his BTU calculations, and he picked up a 97% of fuel in modern cars is burned. It's true. His BTU calculations and his statement on the 97% is true. I haven't found any fault in it, and that's why I defend it. And you guys are all pissed off at me because I am. Oh, he's working against us and this and that. Well, everybody has a different viewpoint in this world. Everybody has different God-given gifts. And if you really look down to the truth of the matter with even Radar Man and Energy Supply and even some proponents of HHO, like, I definitely see benefits in it. And I don't think it's a cure-all. I don't think it's the end of our energy crisis, but it can be a step. But everybody's trying to do what they think is right. They're trying to protect someone from buying something that doesn't work, and the others are trying to sell something that does. Now, HHO, it has benefits, but it's not as easy as 99% of people are making it out to be. I'll get into that in a minute, like I said. But the internal combustion engine hasn't changed in 100 years. The only real advance we've had is EFI and a couple mechanical changes to make them a little more efficient. An engine, if you really get back into the core principles of it, it's an expensive heater. It uses heat to facilitate power. Now, how it does it is you have, you bring in your air-fuel charge, and you have advanced timing. In modern cars, it's actually quite advanced. Before the piston gets to the top and the combustion brings it back down. But really look up combustion and figure out what it means. What we're doing as the piston's coming up, say 30 degrees before top dead center at cruise, it lights that spark plug and starts burning that fuel. Well, the piston's still coming up, so as the fuel heats up, it's expanding and vaporizing the other raw material up at the top. That's going to kind of push it up towards the top, if you will. And then right as it gets to top dead center, it's got perfect circumstances for rapid combustion, which is explosion. Now 97% of our fuel is being burned, but only 20% of that is mechanical power. And that's on a really, really good engine. Some engines are down at 15, 14, 16, 17%, but a newer engine's closer to 20. So we have 80% lost in friction and heat. 90% of that 80% is heat. And people are calling me out on thermodynamics, and I think people are overlooking and not simplifying what the laws of thermodynamics state. And I'll explain that in a minute too. But we're going to get to, we'll do the BTU thing with energy supply. Now this stuff is pretty much dead on. Everything in physics and energy has an energy measurement, if you will. You have kilocalories, you have watts, you have joules, you have BTUs. So energy supply went the BTU route. And everything can be cross-referenced in reality. It depends on your median, what you're describing as to which unit you use to describe that energy. BTUs is associated with heat. Now if you watch my stuff and read my comments from months and months back, I've been saying this but haven't collected my thoughts as I kind of have now. So, you know, a gallon of fuel has, what, 120,000, 112,000, I think is what energy supply used, because it has some ethanol in it. Well, here's your thermodynamics here. You have du equals the delta, the Greek delta Q, and delta W. You have your internal energy, your median, your gasoline. So it's got 112,000, and we're going to use BTUs of energy. Well, that equals heat minus work. That engine is 80% heat, only 20% work. So everybody who's saying I'm going against thermodynamics, I'm saying it's all, cylinder pressures and mechanical work, flip those two around. The equation's still the same. It's just we've moved the 80 over here. The deltas mean, if you can look it up, it's a reflection that heat or work transfer are not properties of the final state of the system. So that means you can move them. You can move them any way you want. Watts, W equals A times V. Amperage times volts equals watts. 1,000 watts can be 1 amp and 1,000 volts, or 1,000 amps and 1 volt. And you can move it anywhere you want for your intended purpose. Well, this is the same concept. And you also have a lot of other variables. That's a pretty simple equation. Well, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Well, how many equations can you write to equal 4? They're infinite. And we can infinitely change things. We're not creating or destroying any energy. We're just moving the way we're using it. And hydroxy can, for all intents and purposes, start moving those variables around with shorter burn time and a more explosive. Convert the engine from a internal combustion engine or internal burning engine to an internal explosion engine. Let's harness more of the mechanical work instead of the heat work. And that's really, when you really look at it simply, that's all we're doing. HHO isn't the answer all, it is a key. I'm working with a lot of other things that I haven't showed on video. Some of this stuff's a little dangerous and I don't need people getting hurt. But overall concept is I'm going to switch from internal combustion engine to internal explosion engine. And it's very doable. It takes control. Control over the environment. You know, for an instance, a stick of dynamite has, we'll leave off a stick of dynamite here. Let's start the video over.